The skies above Seoul changed color on a Tuesday morning. Dr. Ta Kim sat in his lab, watching his machines as they always did. Then, the screen showed something new, strange patterns that made no sense. Ta checked his equipment twice. Yes, it was working right. Something was coming to Earth from deep space. "Dr. Park, you need to see this," Ta said into his phone. His voice was calm, but his hands shook. Una Park arrived 20 minutes later. She looked at the screen and her eyes grew wide. "Are those what I think they are?" she asked. Ta nodded. "Ships, big ones, moving fast toward Earth. They called the president right away." President Han was eating breakfast when he got the news. He dropped his spoon into his soup. "How long do we have?" he asked. 3 days, Ta answered. "Maybe 4. The news spread fast. In other times, countries might have fought each other about what to do. Not now. For the first time, all nations agreed on one thing: Earth must stand together. At the Korean Quantum Research Center, Una brought together the best scientists. Some came from Japan, others from America, Russia, and China. They all looked tired but ready to work. "The signals from the ships are strange," Una explained. She pointed to waves on a big screen. "They use quantum connections. Their technology is far better than ours." "Can we talk to them?" asked Du Shin, a young scientist with round glasses. "We can try," Ta said. They worked day and night. Sleep became rare. Food came in boxes. No one went home. Outside, people filled the streets. Some prayed. Some partied like it was the end of the world. Maybe it was. On the 3rd day, the ships arrived. They hung in the sky like silver mountains. No one could miss them. 7 ships, each bigger than a city. The first message came at noon. "We are the Mori," said a voice that everyone on Earth heard at the same time, in their own language. "We come to learn about your world." World leaders met in a hurry. They picked 5 people to meet the aliens. Ta and Una were 2 of them. "Why us?" Una asked when she heard. "Because you found them first," President Han said. "And because you understand their signals better than anyone." The meeting place was a field outside Seoul. The 5 humans stood there, waiting. Army trucks surrounded the area. Soldiers watched with guns ready. A light appeared from the biggest ship. It touched the ground, and then a figure stood there. The alien looked almost human, but not quite. Its skin was pale blue. Its eyes were too big, with no white parts. It wore something like a silver suit that moved like water. "I am Jin Lo," the alien said. Its mouth didn't move. The words just appeared in everyone's minds. "I speak for the Mori." Ta stepped forward. "I am Dr. Ta Kim. We welcome you to Earth." Jin Lo looked at the humans. His face showed nothing, but his thoughts felt cold. "Your world is young," Jin Lo said. "Your science is basic. Your understanding is small." The soldiers gripped their guns tighter. One of the world leaders, a woman from Brazil, frowned. "We have much to learn," Una said quickly. "But we have our own strengths too." Jin Lo turned to her. "What strengths could you have that would matter to us? We have traveled between stars for 10,000 years. You have barely left your own planet. We solve problems in ways you might not expect," Ta said. "We adapt. We create." Jin Lo made a sound that might have been a laugh. "All species say they are special." "Then give us a chance to prove it," Una said. She stood tall now, her fear gone. "Test us. See what humans can do." Jin Lo was quiet for a long time. The humans waited. Birds flew overhead, not knowing or caring about the moment that would decide Earth's future. "Very well," Jin Lo finally said. "We will test you. If you pass, we will talk more. If you fail..." He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Then Jin Lo was gone, back to his ship in a beam of light. The 5 humans looked at each other. What kind of test would aliens give? How could Earth pass? "What now?" one of the world leaders asked. Now, Ta said, we prepare. The real work begins. The Mori ships stayed in the sky for 3 days without any word. People on Earth waited and worried. Then, on the 4th day, Jinlo returned to the same field outside Seoul. This time, 5 Mori aliens came with him. They all looked like Jinlo, but with small differences. One was taller. One had darker blue skin. They stood in a perfect line. We have decided your test, Jinlo said. His voice still came straight into everyone's minds. You will solve a quantum problem. He held out his hand. A small ball of light appeared above it. The light showed strange symbols and numbers that moved and changed. Our best minds have worked on this for 800 years, Jinlo said. We have made progress but found no complete answer. If humans can help solve it, we will know you have value. And if we can't? President Han asked. Jinlo just looked at him. You have 10 days. The aliens left. The ball of light stayed, floating in the air. Ta tried to touch it. His hand went right through. It's just light, he said. But the information is real. Scientists from around the world came to study the quantum problem. They set up a big center near the field and called it the Quantum Response Center. Hundreds of computers filled the rooms. People worked day and night. Yuna and Ta hardly slept. They drank too much coffee and ate whatever food people brought them. This is impossible, said one scientist on the 5th day. He threw his papers down and left. Others soon followed. But Yuna and Ta stayed. So did Dr. Sungli, a man who always had weird ideas that sometimes worked, and Hannah Cho, a young woman who was better at math than anyone Ta had ever met. We're thinking about this wrong, Sung said late on the 5th night. Everyone else had gone to sleep. Only the 4 of them remained in the big room with screens all around. What do you mean? Yuna asked. Her eyes were red from no sleep. The Mori think in pure logic, Sung said. That's why they've been stuck for hundreds of years. We need to think like humans. And how do humans think? Tai asked. He was too tired to understand. With feeling, with guesses, with jumps that don't always make sense, Sung said. Hana, who rarely spoke, looked up from her computer. He's right. The Mori want an answer that's perfect. But what if the best answer isn't perfect? What if it's good enough? They started again. This time, they didn't try to solve the whole problem at once. They built a new computer program that tried many small answers and kept the ones that worked best. It's like how people learn, Yuna said. We try. We fail. We learn a little. We try again. The computer worked all night. In the morning, it had something new. Not a full answer, but a different way to look at the problem. It's beautiful, Hannah said, looking at the patterns on the screen. They showed their work to the other scientists. At first, no one believed it could work, but then more people joined them. They built more computers that learned in the human way. Each day, the answers got better. On the 9th day, Ta looked at their final answer. It wasn't perfect. It had rough edges, but it worked. Do you think the Mori will accept it? Hannah asked. She looked scared. I don't know, Ta said, but it's the best we can do. On the 10th day, Jinlo and the other Mori returned. The field was now filled with people who came to watch. Some held signs that said, Earth forever. Others just prayed. Yuna stepped forward with a small device they had built. It showed their answer as a pattern of light, like the one Jinlo had first shown them. The Mori alien stood very still, looking at the human answer. For a long time, no one spoke. Ta could hear his own heart beating. Then Jinlo made a sound. It took a moment for Tai to realize the alien was making the sound of surprise. This approach, Jinlo said, it is not how we would solve it. It is not perfect. But it works in ways we did not think of. The alien turned to look at the humans with his big eyes. You use both math and something else. What do you call this way of thinking? Intuition, Yuna said. Human intuition. Jin Lo nodded slowly. Unexpected, he said, and for the first time, his mental voice held something new. Respect. The new friendship between humans and Mori grew quickly. Jin Lo and other Mori visited Earth often. They shared some of their science, and humans shared their art and music. Jin Lo seemed confused by music at first, but soon asked many questions about it. Life was getting back to normal. Ta and Yuna still worked with the Mori, but they also took time to rest. Ta even went fishing with his father like they used to do. Then one morning, everything changed again. Tai was in the lab when all the screens went dark. Then they came back on, showing new ships in the sky. These were not like the Mori ships. They were dark and had sharp points. Jin Lo rushed into the room. For the first time, the alien looked afraid. "We must go," Jin Lo said. "Those are Dorn ships. They are fighters. Killers." A loud boom shook the building. Outside, one of the Mori ships was falling from the sky. It crashed into the sea with a huge splash. "What's happening?" Yuna asked as they ran to a waiting car. "The Dorn hate all other life," Jin Lo said. "They attack any world they find. We have fought them for many years." The car took them to a safe place deep under a mountain. Inside was a big room filled with screens and maps. Both human and Mori leaders were there. A woman in a military uniform was talking. Her name tag said, Jen Un Park. "Their first attack took out 2 Mori ships and one of our air bases," she said. "They're now targeting cities." Jin Lo stepped forward. "Our ships have the best shields in the galaxy. The Dorn should not be able to hurt them so easily." "They have new weapons," another Mori said. "They attack the quantum field itself." Everyone looked worried. The Mori's best technology was not working. "What do we do now?" President Han asked. For a minute, no one spoke. Then General Eamon looked at Jin Lo. "Your people fight with patterns, right? You make plans and follow them exactly." Jin Lo nodded. "That is the most efficient way, and the Dorn know this," Yin said. "They've studied how you fight. They know what you'll do before you do it." "What are you suggesting?" Jin Lo asked. "We need to be unpredictable," Yun said. "Human warfare is often messy. We change plans. We do things that don't make sense. Sometimes it works." Jin Lo looked doubtful. "That is not how advanced species fight." "Maybe that's why the Dorn are winning," Ta said quietly. After much talk, the Mori agreed to try the human way. They still had 5 ships left. The humans had fighter jets and missiles. Together, they made a new kind of plan. The next day, the Dorn attacked again. They came in a perfect line, just as the Mori said they would. But this time, the Earth forces were ready. The Mori ships seemed to run away. The Dorn followed them, as expected. Then, when the Dorn were far from Earth, human jets attacked from the sides. They flew in strange patterns that made no sense. Some jets seemed to make mistakes, but they were tricks. The Dorn ships tried to find a pattern in the attack. There was none. While they were confused, the Mori ships turned around and attacked from behind. 3 Dorn ships fell from the sky that day. The others left Earth quickly. In the mountain room, people cheered. Humans hugged each other. The Mori stood tall and proud. "How did you know that would work?" Jin Lo asked General Ian. She smiled a little. "I didn't know for sure. That's the point. The Dorn couldn't predict what we would do because even we didn't know until we did it." Jin Lo was quiet for a moment. "This is not how my people think, but it worked when our way failed." "The Dorn will be back," Yun said. "They have more ships. Then we will be ready," Jin Lo said. Together. That night, Ta looked at the stars from a window. The Dorn were out there, planning their next attack. But for the first time, he felt hope. Humans might not have the best ships or weapons, but they had something the Dorn didn't understand: the power of being unpredictable. In the quiet town of Millbrook, where cobblestone streets whispered old stories, Sarah Matthews worked as a dedicated environmental researcher. Her small office, tucked away in the local university's science building, was filled with maps, soil samples, and photographs of landscapes she had studied over the years. One crisp autumn morning, Sarah discovered something unusual in the river water samples she had been analyzing. The chemical composition seemed slightly different from her previous recordings. Most researchers would have dismissed it as a minor variation, but Sarah's intuition told her something more significant was happening. Her colleague, Dr. Robert Chen, initially thought she was overthinking the data. "It's probably just a seasonal change," he said, glancing quickly at her notes. But Sarah was persistent. She spent weeks cross-referencing her findings, checking and rechecking every measurement. What she uncovered was startling. The river's ecosystem was subtly changing, and the water's chemical makeup suggested human activities were causing gradual but significant environmental shifts. The local industrial park, which had operated for decades, seemed to be the primary source of these changes. Sarah knew presenting her findings would be challenging. The industrial park was the town's largest employer, and many local families depended on those jobs. Challenging them could mean creating economic tension and potentially making powerful enemies. She decided to approach the situation carefully. Instead of making accusations, she prepared a comprehensive report that highlighted the environmental changes with scientific precision. She included potential solutions that could help both the environment and the industrial businesses maintain their operations. Her presentation to the town council was calm and factual. She showed how small incremental changes in industrial practices could significantly reduce environmental impact without causing economic disruption. Her data was clear, her arguments logical, and her tone respectful. To her surprise, several council members listened attentively. The head of the industrial park, Mr. Thompson, who she expected to be defensive, asked detailed questions about her research. He seemed genuinely interested in understanding the long-term implications. Over the next few months, Sarah worked closely with local industries to implement environmentally friendly practices. Her approach was collaborative, not confrontational. She helped companies understand that protecting the environment could also be economically beneficial. Local businesses started making changes. They upgraded their filtration systems, reduced chemical waste, and implemented more sustainable production methods. The river's ecosystem began showing signs of recovery. Fish populations increased, and water quality improved. Sarah's work became a model for other towns facing similar environmental challenges. Her approach proved that scientific research, when presented with empathy and practical solutions, could create meaningful change. What made her successful wasn't just her scientific knowledge, but her ability to connect with people. She understood that environmental protection wasn't about blaming industries, but about finding solutions that worked for everyone. Years later, when journalists asked her about her groundbreaking work, Sarah would simply smile and say, "It was never about being right. It was about finding a way forward that respected both human needs and our natural environment." The small town of Millbrook became an example of how communities could transform their relationship with the environment. Sarah's research showed that change was possible when people listened to each other and worked together. Her story wasn't just about scientific discovery. It was about human connection, understanding, and the power of approaching complex problems with patience, empathy, and genuine care. As the sun set over Millbrook, casting golden light across the now clearer river, Sarah looked out her office window. The landscape had changed, not through dramatic intervention, but through careful, thoughtful steps. And that, she believed, was the true essence of meaningful progress. Her work demonstrated that real environmental solutions weren't about grand gestures, but about consistent, collaborative efforts that respected both human needs and ecological balance. In Millbrook, she had shown that science could be a bridge, not a barrier, between human activities and the natural world. In a world where technology had transformed nearly everything, Marcus Williams discovered an old wooden box in his grandmother's attic. The box was simple, worn with intricate carvings that seemed to tell a story of their own. Inside, he found a collection of handwritten letters, photographs, and small artifacts that would change his understanding of human legacy forever. The first letter was dated 1945, written by his grandfather during the final days of World War I. It wasn't a tale of heroic battles or grand victories, but a deeply personal account of human connection in the most challenging times. His grandfather wrote about sharing a small piece of bread with a wounded enemy soldier, recognizing their shared humanity despite being on opposite sides of a conflict. Marcus read each letter carefully. They spoke of struggles, hope, love, and resilience. One photograph showed a group of people from different backgrounds working together to rebuild a community after a natural disaster. Another captured a moment of unexpected kindness between strangers during a difficult time. As he explored the contents, Marcus realized these weren't just family memories. They were snapshots of human resilience, compassion, and the profound ability to overcome challenges. Each artifact told a story of how people had supported each other through impossible circumstances. He discovered a small notebook filled with scientific calculations and sketches. It belonged to his great-aunt Helena, a scientist who had worked on early environmental conservation projects. Her notes showed how a small group of researchers had begun understanding the importance of protecting the planet long before it became a global concern. Another letter caught his attention. It was from a distant relative who had helped refugees during a global crisis, offering shelter and support when many others turned away. The letter described how simple acts of kindness could create ripples of hope that extended far beyond a single moment. Marcus understood that humanity's true legacy wasn't about grand achievements or technological advances. It was about the small,